What's up, Breaker Army? We're here doing a voiceover for the Front Row Card Show that was back in Portland. The reason we're doing this voiceover is because our microphone decided not to pick up any audio, so instead of doing no video, I figured we could just condense some things and still be able to get some awesome clips because this show was phenomenal. Front Row was here a couple months back early in the year, and it was exceptional, so no different this time. And it was actually really interesting what we managed to find. We managed to find a good bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! We were very fortunate to be able to attend this show and actually kind of assist vending with my good friend Adrian, aka Baby Broly. If you guys haven't followed him already, go check him out on YouTube. Absolute legend. But we're going to dive into the card show. So most everything, obviously, as you guys can imagine, is dominated by the Pokemon market. So we're seeing some epic stuff as we're going through this card show. Obviously, there's going to be some sports cards. Really, it was mostly all Pokemon. Not that many sports. There was some Magic, some One Piece, but shockingly, I was really surprised to see very few One Piece. And there was maybe one or two vendors that had Magic, but obviously, as you guys can imagine, almost everything was Pokemon. But like for everybody that collects out there, Pokemon is what's hot right now. Everybody's buzzing around it. So some epic boosts as we're going through here. So if you guys want to take a second to pause and look at the actual vendors and what their cards are, definitely feel free to do that because I did speed these clips up. Because really with these card shows, the joy of it is being able to hear the background, hear the interactions and exchanges, and every single vendor was just a great person, great group to be around. Very, very just compassionate, very enthusiastic, obviously, about the hobby and everything that they're selling, and of course what their interests are. And there's some epic cards like this one right here. This is that Chinese, I believe it's the 151 Mew. You guys might want to quote me on that or correct me, of course. And I think it's limited to like a very small amount of quantity, like maybe 1,000 copies or 5,000 or something like that, or maybe it's like 1,151. I can't remember. You experts out there will let me know. However, now going into this booth was exceptional. Our friend here, I cannot remember their name. They actually have a shop down in California. They traveled up here. They traveled all the Front Row card shows. You guys can see we got a mystery bag. We decided not to pick up the mystery bag because I didn't feel like risking it for the biscuit, but you guys will see here in just a few minutes and all the different singles that they actually had at their booth. And we picked up some epic stuff at the very end of this that I didn't manage to get a clip of. I'm going to do a show here at the very end of everything that we managed to pick up from across the show, then of course from this seller. So we're going to speed through these binders. A lot of epic stuff. The very first card you guys see that I had to snatch up was this twin-headed Thunder Dragon. Extremely faded, not in perfect condition, but nonetheless, you don't see super faded, heavy faded stuff like that. I won't go out there and say max fade because some people get kind of sensitive with that, but I'll go up on a limb and say this was for sure at least heavy faded. So we grabbed that one, and then we're going to speed through these binders because it was a lot of stuff. We looked at a couple things, not everything, but here we go. Speed mode, so a lot of QCRs, a lot of Ultra Secrets, some old school stuff. There was a Blue Eyes Toon Dragon. Not all of it was in the best shape. The good old nostalgia condition. So just some epic stuff, guys. This was a good mix. I was really shocked to actually see this much Yu-Gi-Oh! They were actually there at the last Front Row Card Show in Portland. And I guess they did so well that they managed and they able to come back up to this next one. So hopefully we do see them. I believe the next time we're going to have it in Portland is in December. So we do have quite a few months, but we've got 3 Dark Magicians here. They are, most of them, I think the first 2 were well loved. This third copy was a bit better. I almost jumped on it, but I'm like, I know I don't need it. I wanted it, but didn't need it. This is some more of the other epic stuff. So 1,000 Dragon. Charcoal and Pachi wasn't in the perfect condition that I was looking for. Now this was a cool one. This was a Herald of Greenlight that I almost grabbed. I thought the price was a little too high, but you guys will see what we actually end up grabbing here at the very end. We got, of course, the classic SDK art Blue Eyes White Dragon, and then there was a Red Eyes down there. There were 2 copies of Swords of Revealing Light. One was original print, and if you guys paused here back there earlier in the video, one was an EN print. And I won't go into the specifics on how you guys get EN cards, but EN prints don't come up all that often, so I had to snag that one. Plus the condition was pretty good. Force Ceasefire, you guys know I love Flaming Eternity. Unfortunately not in good enough condition that I felt like picking up, but still pretty solid nonetheless. Then here's a fun one, so if you pause that one for a second, that was the Elemental Hero from the Upper Deck Entertainment, like fake but not fake counterfeit copies. So just be careful out there if you guys are buying those. Make sure they have the gold Eye of Anubis stamp there on the bottom instead of the silver, because that is it's a weird one. Fake, but not fake. And then another 1,000 Dragon. But didn't end up actually picking that one up. And then we're going to move over to this binder. So there you guys can see the Battle of Chaos Dark Magician. One of the best artworks for modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Such a shame they didn't keep that exclusive. And then there's an Odin Ghost Ray that I was like, holy crap, this is actually super clean. I think it must have been packed fresh. Got it for a great price as well. There's a Hero Barrier. Couple things for Exodia. I think this was a dark beginning Exodia. Typically, like if I see vintage stuff in really good condition, like near mint plus to mint, I'm gonna grab it just because I like collecting that stuff. You don't see it all that often. You guys know that. You guys have seen me buy tons of collections, so you guys know what I'm interested in picking up. So flipping through the rest of this binder, some more twin-headed thunder dragons. Didn't pick up too much else from the rest of this one, but there's another stack coming up here in just a moment. Let me know, guys, if you guys do enjoy these type of videos. Obviously, I would have much preferred to have the raw audio where you guys can hear the interactions, of course, with each vendor as we were going through, but unfortunately, like I said, our microphone decided it didn't want to work. Didn't want to pick up the audio, which was really a bit of a bummer. And then going through some top-loaded cards, so there's some more things, more singles here. I almost grabbed that Gaga Girl, but I was waiting to see how prices were going to settle, because this was pretty close to the release for, what was that, Duelist Advance, I think the set that came out in. And then there was the Stardust Dragon Assault Mode. Been trying to find a pretty clean copy of that one. It wasn't in clean enough condition for me. And then some other Ultimate Rares, of course, Classic Injection Fairy Lily. Some more playable stuff, modern stuff, some other classic stuff. Really just an awesome mix of cards overall. Like, fantastic vendor. They had so much stuff for Yu-Gi-Oh! Obviously, a lot of Pokemon. Just was really surprised to see that much Yu-Gi-Oh! And then flipping through quickly here, a lot of lower end, some decent stuff, some Ultimate Rares, more like rarity collections, things like that. Little classic Dark Blade, you can't go wrong with that one. Junk Berserker, I almost grabbed that one too. I think that was Euro. Actually, I think I remember them having that last show. Thinking back to it now. So here's our pile so far, what we're going to be grabbing. We've got, of course, the Odin, the Exodia, the Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon, which I still can't believe that card was at this card show. Like, faded stuff, obviously, is kind of like a weird thing right now where you either love it or you hate it. And then now we're going to pan over to the side of their booth. So there was somebody there right now looking at one of their binders. Then we're going to see some epic stuff here in just a second. So moving the binder, boom, we've got a bunch of slabs, some more Yu-Gi-Oh goodies. So getting in here, we do have the starter decks with Kaiba. Now I think, I don't want to go and misjudge anything, but I'm pretty sure, I know that was at least labeled as Asian English. I think it was a counterfeit deck. I don't know if the seller was aware or not. I'm not going to call him out, obviously, but some other epic stuff, like the Joey and Pegasus decks were real. You guys can see a Judgment Dragon there in the corner, some awesome blisters, booster packs, other graded stuff, Injection Fairy Lily, Yada, Blue Eye, Shinado, BPTs, everything. But the big ones, you guys, if you didn't see, were the first edition copies of Dark Magician and Blue Eyes from LOB. And then here is our pickup, so we actually managed to grab everything. I think we paid, it was like $120 for everything, so really solid price. Like, I can't be mad one bit. Definitely happy with everything that we got. The conditions are pretty spot on too. Now here's another vendor to the side of them that actually had, you guys can see there was a first edition Jinzo, a Time Wizard, there was a B-Skull Dragon, some other epic stuff, and then somebody actually came up beside me that I was talking to just a minute ago that brought some of their singles with them, and they're like, hey, do you want to check it out? We had an awesome conversation. I really apologize, I cannot remember your name because I'm actually doing this voiceover a lot later. So I'm going to speed this up very quickly because I did want to include this just to give a shout out to this person for taking the time to chat with me. They wanted me to look at their cards, see if there's anything that I was interested in, and I also kind of like gave them some pointers and tips on like what was worth sleeving, what was valuable. So just a phenomenal time, guys. Like, this was so cool. I love when people actually come up and ask questions, and if I don't have the answers, I'll for sure be able to find it for you. And then just, you know, this is a trading card game, you know, at the end of the day, so you got to have those conversations and build community. So going through the fist bump here, and come on, boom. It's just an awesome time. So again, much love to you, my friend. I can't remember your name. I apologize if you do watch this video. You were awesome. Going on to my good friend Spanx. He actually came up to the card show, so this was a pleasure being able to meet him. So know the person you need to follow. He is on Instagram. Go check him out. I'll be sure to link his stuff up. Pop a picture up above for his actual profile. But look at this collection of things. And then, so here I show him like what I actually picked up from that particular vendor before. But man, this guy is loaded. Spanx, you are a legend with everything that you have. The deepest pockets, that's for sure. And now going over to our good friend OG Panda, Mr. Aaron. Look what this man just picked up. So obviously we don't have the card in hand yet because I think he just purchased it at this time. But this appears to be a flawless copy of Stardust Dragon First Edition, Ghost Rare in a PSA 10. I'll let you guys leave your guesses down below how much you think this card was sold for. It's not cheap. But huge pickup, so we're just checking out the actual card here. So if you guys don't know, PSA 10s do have some variability on like strong 10s, weak 10s. This one, from what we could see at least, did not have any whitening, which is, he's very, very picky with what he collects. So he's actually, he paid the premium to have something minty. And then a friend at their booth had some, I think, a Struggle of Chaos, if I remember correctly. OCG packs. I don't remember which ultimate rares come in here. I think this might be the one with like Chaos, what is it? Dark Magician of Chaos, possibly? I can't remember. I'll pop it up on screen with the 2 ultimate rares that are in this one, but really cool to see packs like this. I didn't actually end up picking those up just because, I don't know, like with loose packs like that, you just never know. And then going over to the rest of their booth, so just some epic stuff, guys. Like, this was such an epic overall card show, and I'm probably going to say epic way too many times. You're going to get tired of hearing it, but it really was. Like, if you're a Pokemon fan, this was definitely the show for you. One thing you see as well, you see a lot of people with graded guards. The graded guard market is just crazy. There's so many people trying to make some quick bucks with the graded guards, but if you can do it, definitely take advantage of it because the market is just nuts. And then going into our next booth, so this person actually had a card I was looking for. Specifically, I was trying to find a Dark Raichu in like near mint plus to mint condition, and understandably so, a lot of people that had these big booths, if it was a raw copy, it's probably wasn't worth grading is why it was raw. So I'm like, I might just try and find like a PSA 9, something super clean, or find somebody that doesn't mind selling a mint copy for a premium that I can actually inspect outside of a slab. But here we are. So the vendor handed it to us, and you know, nothing against these vendors at all. Like, definitely take advantage, grade the card if you can sell it, get some extra money out of it, go for it. But this is one that I was actually on the fence. The price was fair. All the other copies I found at the show were like 120s to 140s, which like market is around like 85 to 90, I think, for near mint copies. So the 100 was fair. And from what I could see, the actual copy looked pretty good, but we didn't actually end up picking this one up. This was one that, again, I'm still kind of on the fence if I want to grab. I do love the first original secret rare. So if you guys don't know, that is the original secret rare for Pokemon. For the TCG, at least. I'm sure there's maybe some others for the actual Japanese side. But going to our good friends over at Cardboard Diamonds, I just wanted to shout them out, of course, because they're just epic. They are in Beaverton. If you guys are in Oregon area near Portland, go check them out. And then this vendor, great conversation here. So this is a Cerulean Edge we almost picked up. This is another one I have on my list to maybe grab. It's not super expensive, around 100 bucks, give or take. But I had to include this, one, because this card is awesome, and then two, this vendor was even more awesome because they were talking us up with how they used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! They played Light Sworns, I think is what they were saying, and so we just had a good time talking about like Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Yu-Gi-Oh! Like Edison, 5Ds, all those different formats. Really just great time. There was definitely a lot of people at this show that surprised me that were Yu-Gi-Oh! Collectors or just knew a lot about the game. So, you know, big shout out to that seller. Can't really remember their name. And then to the final part of this video, look at this box. Rock Mountain, I think it's either Rock Mountain or Rocky Mountain TCG. They're local to the area. Wes actually has this box. It is a first edition Metal Raiders. I'll pop up the information. But he is selling this box. We were going to try and do a box break, but unfortunately couldn't really get a whole lot of interest in it. Rightfully so, because it's a very expensive box, but beauty of a thing. Like, you guys just don't see this all that often. Like, this is several thousands of dollars, guys. Insane overall. I think it honestly went better than the first overall card show just for the sheer amount of cards that were there for Yu-Gi-Oh! The first one, we found that glossy Blue Eyes White Dragon, but to find everything we found and then just to see everything that was there was amazing. So here in just a few seconds, we're going to do here just a quick wrap up of the last couple vendors before we do close out and check out everything that we picked up, including some extra goodies that you guys didn't see in the video. All right, we are back in the Yu-Gi room to check out everything we did end up picking up, because like I said, there was more included that I didn't actually get video for. So our first one is going to be a reverse print Red Eyes Black Dragon from the BPT set. Now this one was actually, it was surprisingly fairly clean. I got it for a pretty good price. I would put it at like maybe on the lower end of near mint, but I was really surprised to see a reverse print Red Eyes BPT at that card show. And then from that same seller, we picked up the faded stuff. We actually came back to their shop, so you'll see, or their table, you'll see some of the big stuff we picked up from them. We got a Sage of Eyes of Blue, Ultimate Rare, and then on the back here is a Spellbook of Fate, Ultimate Rare from Abyss Rising we just needed for our Zexal sets. And then an unlimited Big Tusk Mammoth. This was an actual, I think it was pretty much packed fresh. A super clean copy, unlim. As you guys know, I left Lemming Eternity. I'm working on a first edition and unlimited set. And now to show you guys a lovely mix. So this is actually a mix from the first seller that we picked up the big lot from, and then a second seller. I'll pop up the information. I can't remember their name off the top of my head right now, but they've been at pretty much at every card show that we've been to so far, and they had a pretty epic lot. So you guys will see, we've got an Elemental Hero Air Neos. Now, unfortunately, this is not the Ultimate Rare, and it's unlimited, but it is an Ultra Rare. This card is actually pretty clean. So if you guys are an Elemental Hero collector, this card's for you. That's a huge one. So we got that. We got a Dark Arm Dragon Ghost Rare. Not one, but two of them. A Celtic Guardian. This is true original print. I don't think it's like specific, like wavy 1.5, anything like that. It's just True OG, looks beautiful. Dark Ruler Hades, we got a Buster Blader. Now this one actually has a Binder Ding, not in great condition, but still a great card. Still is going to be able to take out some Slifers, that's for sure. We got a Yatagarasu, LOD, classic LOD centering. Yamada Dragon, we got a Relinquish, started a Pegasus, Exodia. I can't remember the condition on this one. I think everything, when I went through this, everything that was not in like the standard black sleeves you guys saw in the first couple cards were in okay shape, and then some of these not so much, but that's okay. You know, this was a kind of bulk buy from our good friend that we just had to grab. You know, I was really surprised to see what I saw at this show, guys. And then, so some more Buster Bladers. We got an Unlim, and then another first edition. This one's in a bit worse condition. I think this one's like heavily played, give or take some around there. Got a Kazajan from Metal Raiders, a Warrior of Atlantis, Unlimited Ultimate Rare, but it's still a beauty. We got the Magnet Warriors. I think the set is here. Nope, just Alpha and Beta, kind of oddly enough. Parasite, Revival Jam, a Toon Mermaid, the Masked Beast from A Labyrinth of Nightmare, another Relinquished from Star Trek Pegasus, Thousand Eyes Restrict, Imperial Order. This one is a Reverse Secret Rare. Got a Drop Off. Now here's some cool stuff. So there was somebody that came by my friend's booth, again, Baby Broly, that I was helping him out with the show, or actually he was kind of helping me, trying to teach me how to vend and stuff. This guy came up, he had a incredibly crazy crimped Blue Eyes White Dragon from Stampede that, or no, this is Bonanza, right? Bonanza? No, yes, it's Bonanza. So that has this crazy crimp, and I don't typically collect misprint stuff, but this was just too cool. I had to grab it. So for those who don't know, cards don't typically come crimped like that on the top. Kind of crazy. And here's a cool one. So it is a Grandmaster of the Sixth Samurai. I wouldn't have usually bought this, but the reason I did, and this is a very specific print of this card. So for those who don't know, typically the Secret Rare foiling has the standard, like, this is maybe a bad example, but it kind of has those thicker lines. This one has the thin line Secret Rare, so the only way you can get this is specifically from the Samurai Assault Special Edition displays. So very unique one. You know, I am kind of slowly over time trying to collect those specific Secret Rares, so this was a cool, unique one to find. Then here is our Odin. This thing was clean. Like, I was shocked at how clean that card was. And then the Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon that we did pick up, it does unfortunately have a crease right here on the side, but really clean overall. Like, I would maybe say this is close to max fade. You know, obviously, I don't want to upset anybody that is a faded collector, but heavy, we'll just go heavy fade. And then that seller also had a Artorigus. This was a pretty clean copy. Has a little white spot there, but I'm not going to be too picky. This is just something I need for the master set. This is the Exodia Dark Beginning we picked up, the Swords Revealing Light, and then here is another really cool one. Not the Swords Revealing Light, but we picked up that one. And then this one, and unfortunately, it's really clean. It's just the hollow is fairly scratched up. Like, it could be worse. But this one is also specifically from the Samurai Assault Special Edition displays. And other than that, other than the scratch on the front, it's a really clean copy. You guys know I love Red Dragon Archfiend, especially this Ghost Rare just looks unreal. Like, phenomenal card. But this one specifically, again, is from that print. So how you can tell, the actual artwork and everything is mostly the same, but the text box, from what I noticed, is really dark in comparison to the overall card. So the card stock, like, printing is lighter, and then that is darker. So not to get too far into the weeds on that one, but that's how you tell. And then, some pretty big slabs. I'm going to show you guys this first one, because it is a Pokemon slab. I love this artwork of Pikachu, and it's pretty cheap. So I think this was actually my only Pokemon buy for the actual show, but I picked up some other stuff like later on for like Crown Zenith. I think Crown Zenith is a very slept on set, so I had to pick up this, but it is the Pikachu V from Lost Origin. I think this is this the Trainer Gallery? Yeah, this is a Trainer Gallery copy, but epic card. And then you guys saw that booth earlier. You guys may have remembered seeing this Judgment Dragon there. Well, we managed to work out a pretty good deal for this one. So this will match the Caius PSA 9 that I have. I do have a raw copy of Judgment Dragon. I don't think I'm going to try and crack this and regrade. I need to take a closer look at it. I think I mostly wanted to... the reason I got it is because I wanted to keep it alongside the Caius, but for the price it was, you know, we'll see. Maybe I'll consider it. And then the biggest one that we did purchase was Red Dragon Archfiend PSA 9 First Edition Ultimate Rare. I am really on the fence if I want to try and crack this one. The only minor spot flaw is there's 2 white specks right here in the bottom of the card. Whether if I crack it and I regrade it and it comes back a 9, I'm just going to keep it. Obviously, I love Red Dragon Archfiend. I have a raw mint copy, but even in a 9, this card is a beauty. So this one, it might just stay slabbed up because it is such an epic card. Like, what a great show. Like, I just did not expect to find these at all. Like, the first particular front row card show went really well. Obviously, we found that glossy print started at Kaiba Blue Eyes White Dragon, but to find everything that we found so far was just unreal. So I really hope that the show that comes up in December delivers just as much goods or as many goods. I'm going to try and actually do some vending myself, so we'll see how that goes. Try and promote Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit more, kind of be like the guy, obviously aside from the vendor there, because she was rushing it. But let me know down below, guys, what you thought of that video. Obviously a bit different than what I would have liked to have done, because our microphone did fail us, but we made it work. So let me know your guys' thoughts on that video. Do you want to see more content like that? Is that something you enjoy? Obviously, under normal circumstances where the microphone is working and we can kind of pick up stuff like normal. But of course, if you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for future content. Consider joining as a channel member to get you guys some free packs and other awesome perks, or click any links down below to get you guys some awesome discounts on epic brands. That's all I have for today. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. I do have to give a massive shout out to our channel members: K-Dragon, Mark Donnelly, Sargoni YT, Cody Slater, Josh Evans, Michael P. Sutton, Lazy Dane, Evan Rudolph, Allison Snell, Will Breaks TCG, Ram22, Roland Pryor, Austin and Kayla, Ghost King TCG, Derek Williams, King Louie, Toenfo Show, Battle Phase, All for Chaos, Chio, Attention Duelist, Capiba, and Zoxus. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. I do hope you have a nice day. Hope you have a nice night. I will see you guys in the next one. This is CardBreaker. I'm out.